Many TOEFL candidates struggle with the speaking section because they don't know what the examiners are actually looking for. They practice speaking English a lot, but practice alone isn't enough. High-scoring candidates do a few key things differently, and most test takers have no idea what those things are. We've helped thousands of students prepare this way through our TOEFL packages. They discover how strategic preparation can completely change their results. In this video, you'll learn 10 powerful tips that separate low-scoring candidates from high-scoring candidates. If you're ready to study smarter, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to approach your TOEFL speaking preparation with focus, confidence, and a clear plan. Tip number 1 is understanding the two task types. The TOEFL speaking test has two distinct tasks, and knowing what each one asks you to do can make a huge difference. Task 1 is called Listen and Repeat. In this task, you'll hear several sentences within a scenario, set in an academic or everyday life context. Your job is to repeat each sentence as accurately as possible right after you hear it. There's no preparation time, so you need to listen carefully and start speaking as soon as you can. Task 2 is called Take an Interview. Here, you'll have a conversation with a pre-recorded interviewer. The interviewer will ask you several questions, and you'll have 45 seconds to answer each one. When you understand what each task requires, you can adjust your approach for each one. In Listen and Repeat, your main focus is accuracy and clarity. In Take an Interview, your focus is on developing your answers fully and expressing your ideas clearly. Knowing this ahead of time helps you walk into the test with a clear plan instead of figuring things out as you go. The second tip focuses specifically on the Listen and Repeat task, and it comes down to one thing: active listening. Many test takers make the mistake of trying to memorize the sentence word by word while they're still hearing it. This actually makes it harder to remember everything. Instead, focus on understanding the meaning of the sentence first. When you grasp what the sentence is saying as a whole, it's much easier to reproduce it accurately. In the following, you'll hear a sentence, listen carefully and focus on its meaning. Then repeat the sentence exactly as you heard it. A timer will show how much time you have.
The Campus Health Centre will be offering free flu shots every Tuesday afternoon this semester.
As you can see, if you understand that the sentence is about free flu shots being available on campus, it's a lot easier to say it back naturally. Also, pay attention to the overall structure of the sentence. Notice whether it's a simple statement, a sentence with a condition, or a sentence with multiple pieces of information. This awareness helps you organize what you heard when it's time to speak. Tip number 3 is essential for scoring high on the Take an Interview task. One of the key things TOEFL examiners look for is your vocabulary range. This means you should avoid repeating the same basic words over and over. Instead, show that you can use a variety of expressions naturally. For example, if you keep saying good to describe things, try replacing it with more precise alternatives depending on the context. You might say beneficial, worthwhile, or effective instead. These word choices show that you have a wider range of language to draw from. Here's an example. Don't say, "I think this is a good way to learn." Instead, you could say, "I think this is a really effective approach to learning." The meaning is very similar, but the second version sounds significantly more advanced. To ensure you use advanced language, use templates. Templates provide you with sentence starters for TOEFL speaking. They include plenty of advanced vocabulary and different sentence structures, so you can show the TOEFL examiners that your English is advanced. This can really boost your score. Let's say the interviewer asks you this question. Some people find working in large teams energizing and motivating. Others find it stressful and draining. What kind of reaction do you have to working in large teams? Why do you think you react this way? Here is a basic answer that doesn't use advanced language. I don't like working in big teams. It's stressful. Everyone has different ideas and it's hard to agree. I prefer working alone. And here is an advanced version. I have a somewhat mixed reaction to working in large teams. I generally feel energized at the start of a group project, but I tend to find it draining when communication breaks down and decisions take a long time. I think I react this way because, and so on. The sentence starter I have a somewhat mixed reaction to is from our templates. It's way more precise and more advanced than I don't like. It's also the kind of language a competent English speaker would naturally use in this context. The sentence starters I generally feel, and I think I react this way because work beautifully too, because they demonstrate that you know how to use advanced vocabulary and a variety of sentence structures. The best thing about templates is that you don't have to think about how to start your sentences. You can simply start speaking. You say the sentence starter and then you complete the sentence with your ideas. If you want to speak confidently like high-scoring candidates, check out our TOEFL packages. You'll find all the templates and strategies you need to give high-scoring responses. The link is just below this video. Tip number 4 is something that many test takers overlook completely, but it can make a real difference to your score. In the Take an Interview task, the TOEFL examiners are specifically looking for a range of grammar structures. This means you shouldn't rely on simple sentences alone. You need to show that you can use different grammatical patterns naturally and accurately. Many test takers answer every question with the same basic structure: subject, verb, object. This is a problem. If you use only simple sentences throughout your response, it signals to the examiner that your grammatical range is limited, which can lower your score. Check out this example. I like working in teams. It's easier to finish projects. You can share the work. I prefer working in teams because it's much easier to get things done when you can divide responsibilities. As you can see, the second version connects ideas with more complex structures. First, it uses a comparative phrase, much easier. Second, it includes a subordinate clause, when you can divide responsibilities. Third, it uses a natural conjunction to show the reason, because. You can also use conditional structures to add depth to your answers. Take a look at this example. Group work is good. Everyone helps each other. If everyone contributes equally, group projects tend to produce much stronger results than solo work. The second version uses a conditional clause. If everyone contributes equally, it also includes a comparative structure, much stronger results than. Using such grammatical structures makes your response sound more advanced. Other structures that can boost your score are relative clauses. For instance, the approach that works best for me is, or something that I've always found helpful is. You can also use modals to express degrees of certainty or possibility. For example, this could be a really effective solution, or that kind of experience would have been difficult to get on my own. The goal isn't to force complicated grammar into every sentence. The goal is to vary your structures naturally so that your response doesn't sound repetitive. When you do this well, it shows the TOEFL examiners that you have the grammar range to express your ideas precisely, which can boost your score. Tip number 5 can really take your Take an Interview score to the next level. Develop your answers with specific examples. A low-scoring response might answer the question in general terms. A high-scoring response gives a specific example that makes the answer feel detailed and allows you to show the examiner your English skills. Here's what this looks like in practice. Imagine the interviewer asks you this question. Some people choose their career based on personal passion, while others prioritize financial stability. Which approach do you think is more practical? Why? Here is a general answer to this question. I think financial stability is more important. It's better to have money. Passion doesn't always pay well. Now, check out this answer. I think prioritizing financial stability is more practical, especially early in your career. When I first started looking for jobs after graduation, I realized that following my passion alone wasn't going to cover my rent and student loans. So I took a job in a stable field first. And I'm slowly working toward the things I'm actually passionate about on the side. As you can see, the second answer is more developed and much more convincing. It states your opinion clearly and explains why you feel this way. That level of detail is what separates high-scoring responses from average ones. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Now, let's continue with 5 more tips that can help you score high in TOEFL speaking. Tip number 6 is something a lot of test takers don't think about enough, and it directly impacts your score. In the listen and repeat task, you're not just being scored on whether you got the words right. You're also being scored on how easy it is to understand you. This means pronunciation, rhythm, and pacing all matter. Try to repeat the sentence the way a natural English speaker would say it. Don't include awkward pauses between each word. Run the words together naturally, just like you heard them. The next tip is really important for your confidence in the listen and repeat task. What happens when you miss a word or you're not sure about part of the sentence? Many test takers completely freeze up, and that's the worst thing you can do. Here's what you need to know. A response that captures the overall meaning of the sentence, even with 1 or 2 small changes, can still score high. You don't need to be perfect. What you do need is to keep going and produce a full, complete sentence. So if you miss 1 word, don't stop. Don't say, 5 times trying to remember it. Just keep moving and finish the sentence with the words you do remember. A fluent, mostly accurate response will score higher than a broken, choppy response where you keep pausing and correcting yourself. The key takeaway here is this. Keep speaking even when you're not 100% sure. Completing the sentence shows the examiner that you can process and produce spoken English under real conditions. Now, let's check out tip number 8. It applies to the take an interview task, and it's about time management. You have 45 seconds to answer each question. That might sound like a lot, but it goes by really fast, especially if you're nervous. Many TOEFL candidates make the mistake of spending too long on their introduction, and then they run out of time before they can explain their ideas properly. If you want to achieve a high score, you need to actually develop your answer, not just give a 1-sentence reply. Here's a simple way to think about it. In the first few seconds, answer the question directly. Then spend the rest of the time explaining why or giving a specific example. This structure keeps you on track and makes sure you're always moving forward. For example, if the interviewer asks you to describe a skill you've learned recently, don't spend a long time explaining that you're going to talk about photography. Instead, say something like this. One skill I've recently picked up is basic photography, mostly through online tutorials. Then use the remaining time to explain what motivated you to learn it and how you've been using it. That's what a developed, well-organized response looks like. This brings us to tip number 9. This tip is one that many candidates don't think about until it's too late. In the Take an Interview task, it's really easy to start answering a question and then slowly drift away from what the interviewer actually asked. When that happens, your response loses focus and your score will go down. Staying on topic means that every sentence you say should connect back to the question. For example, if the interviewer asks about your reaction to working under pressure, your entire response should be about that reaction. If the question asks for your opinion on a specific issue, don't spend half your time talking about a related but different topic. Every second counts, so you can't afford to waste time on things that don't directly answer the question. A simple way to stay on topic is to keep the key words from the question in your head the whole time you're speaking. In that example, the key words are reaction and working under pressure. Every sentence you say should tie back to one of those two things. When your response is focused and on point from start to finish, it's much easier for the examiner to follow, and it shows that you understood the question clearly. This is a key part of scoring high. Tip number 10 is something that affects both tasks. Many test takers either speak too fast when they're nervous or too slowly when they're thinking about what to say next. Both of these habits can make your response harder to understand and can hurt your score. In the listen and repeat task, rushing through the sentence often leads to missing words or running sounds together in a way that makes you hard to understand. In the Take an Interview task, speaking too slowly can make your response sound choppy, especially if you make long, unnatural pauses. The goal is a natural conversational pace. Think about how you would talk to a friend when you are explaining something to them. You are not rushing, but you are also not painfully slow. You speak clearly, pause at natural points in the sentence, and keep things flowing. These are 10 tips you must know to score highly on the TOEFL speaking test. If you're serious about achieving the TOEFL score you need, check out our TOEFL packages using the link below. We'll guide you step by step on how to score high, so you'll feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their TOEFL score too. See you in the next video!